What's going on, guys? It's O for Mount Confidence, and in today's video I want to talk about self-esteem, what you can do in order to raise your self-esteem and why it is low to begin with. So low self-esteem is resulted by circumstances, events, stories, experiences that have happened in the past and are happening right now. Somewhere along the line, your inner critic has been born. The inner critic is simply that inner voice that you hear in your head that sets demands and expectations for you to follow or for you to reach. And if you don't reach those expectations, then that's when it puts you down. It's a voice that tells you that you're not good enough. It's that voice that compares you to others and puts you under the impression that that specific person is better than you at some way or even all ways. It's that voice that tells you that your friend is bored, your friend doesn't like you, your friend thinks you're weird, or your friend is just getting sick of you. It's that voice that bosses you around. Because your inner critic has been working for years, maybe even decades, negative and toxic habits have been created. Because it's been there for such a long time, it's hard for you to even recognize its presence. It becomes part of you. It becomes this noise that you're so accustomed to that you actually think it's you. But it's not. Why does this inner critic exist to begin with? Believe it or not, and as paradoxical as it may sound, it's there to protect you. It uses positive and negative reinforcement to set expectations and demands. And so by setting unrealistic or weird expectations, by you not achieving those expectations, you don't end up being surprised by the outcome and you're less hurt by it. For example, it's your first date and that inner critic comes in and tells you that she's bored. She is not having a good time. She just wants to leave. After, the date is over, that voice keeps telling you all these negative things so that if it does not work out, you're not surprised and you're not as hurt. If you do meet the expectations and demands that it puts, you feel a sense of accomplishment and self-worth, but only temporarily. Even though it's there to protect you, the problem is that it actually does more damage than anything. It causes your self-esteem to be really hurt, your self-worth to be really hurt, and so you end up having problems that continue to be with you for a very long time. Now, how do we get rid of him or her, that inner critic, that inner voice? We must practice by catching that voice within our inner monologue. The most common places where you'll find the inner critic show up to do some work is when you meet strangers, when you have contact with people that you're sexually attracted to, situation where you feel criticized or defensive, interaction with authority figures such as your boss, your parents, situations where you feel hurt or angry or disappointed, situation where you feel rejected, and a conversation with someone that seems to be disapproving of whatever it is that you did. The reason why it's important for you to focus on your inner monologue and catch that inner critic when it jumps at you is because really that's half the battle. The second you're able to do that, then you can start making changes so that it is no longer there, or at least it shows up a lot less often. So for example, you're having a conversation with someone and then all of a sudden you kind of feel like you're being attacked. Not by that person, but your thoughts. They kind of tell you these things where let's say that person is, weirded out by you, or you are sitting in a weird way and you gotta fix yourself up, and you start looking around and seeing if people are looking at you, things like that. That's when you know that this is your inner critic trying to do its work. And so you catch it and then you go on about disarming it. How do you disarm your critic? So there's 3 steps. Unmasking the purpose of your critic, talking back to your critic, having a conversation with that critic, and finding a new motivator. So unmasking his or her purpose. Recognizing what the critic is trying to do. So when you're focusing on that inner monologue, you start recognizing that, for example, you're comparing me right now to force me to live by the rules I grew up with. You're insisting that I must be perfect because if I am, then I might feel okay about myself. You're telling me that I can't do it or I won't do it because I don't gotta worry about doing it and giving myself, trying to try and achieve what it is that I'm trying to achieve. By revealing the secret motives you are less vulnerable to that voice that goes on in your head, the critic. Telling your critic to fuck off every time it comes in and tries to do its work. So thinking about the consequences that will happen as a result of you listening to your inner critic. So for example, thinking that I'm looking awkward or I'm acting awkward will result in you feeling awkward and acting awkward. So you start thinking that people, you start feeling anxious towards people, and you'll be on guard because you think that they're not going to accept you. By talking back, by first recognizing that it's there, its motives, and talking back, this takes away its power for some time. In order for you to keep that critic away for as long as possible, or for throughout the whole day, you need to create a positive environment in your mind by doing things such as affirmations and visualization. Visualizing the positive aspects of you, or visualizing things that you want to be or to do. You place your body, or you place your mind and body in this positive vibration that does not know negativity. And by constantly affirming to yourself, doing affirmations, statements that bring out your strengths, or statements that you want to achieve, and continuously telling yourself those things, you're putting images and you're putting words in here to create a much positive environment. And when there's a positive environment, the critic does no longer have power. It only has power over you when you're depressed, or when you're feeling anxious, or when you're feeling negative, in a state of worry, or in a state of a depressive state. You know that it has power over you when you're experiencing some sort of negative emotion, because it uses your emotions to try and control you. And so if it gets to the point where you're feeling down for no reason, or you kind of have an idea of why you're feeling down, and it has to do with something that happened that caused you to hurt your self-esteem, then you know this is your critic, and this is really not you. It's just that voice that tries to boss you around. So number 3, the last thing that you want to do to disarm the critic is find a new motivator. Rather than using your inner critic to put you down, so you are motivated to do work and reach certain expectations and demands set by the inner critic, find a new way of getting motivated. Again, visualization is a great way. So rather than feeling down and getting motivated by the negative feeling, to change that feeling by doing something positive, use something that's positive, that's going to get you to experience a positive vibration, a positive feeling, in order for you to get up and do whatever it is that you want to do positively in good energy. Again, rather than visualizing yourself not being fat, visualize yourself having a six-pack or being toned. And that is how you disarm the inner critic. Guys, remember, it's just a voice. Everyone experiences negative emotions, negative thoughts. It's part of life. But also, there's certain people that have it a lot more than other people, because their self-esteem is usually hurt a lot more through experiences, through events, through circumstances in the past, now. And so really try to work with your mind, work with your subconscious mind by visualizing, by affirming yourself, by doing what you like and not doing what you don't like, by creating positivity around you, by surrounding yourself with positive people, positive situations, positive circumstances. And again, life will throw these negative circumstances at you to test you, to spice things up, right? It's just part of life. So focus on the things that you can control, and don't pay attention to the things that you can't control. They happen for every reason. Everything happens for a reason. If you're experiencing something bad, you're labeling it as bad. It's actually good. It's a curse in disguise. It's there to allow you to grow, to get deeper within you. And so don't trust your inner critic. It's just, it is there to help you out. It is there to protect you from certain, from feeling certain ways, or being too down on yourself. But paradoxically, it does exactly that by hurting your self-esteem at a very deep level that causes long-term damage. And so create a positive environment. That's the best thing that I can tell you for self-esteem. And practice, if your issue is not having enough confidence to talk to a girl, practice by starting small talk with strangers. It doesn't have to be girls, it could be guys. Just practice the skill that you want to achieve, and most importantly is put it in your head. Visualize and affirm, because that's really going to tackle the inner deep problem that's in your mind, the habits that were created as a result of things happening in your past. I hope this video has been helpful, motivational, inspirational, all that stuff. If you guys want to see something, if you want to request a video, a topic you want me to cover, let me know in the comments, in the comment description below. This channel is all about increasing our confidence, reaching the top of Mount Confidence to feel incredibly amazing and get this high that you get when you climb a mountain. Signing out.